For thousands of years, the galaxy lived under the protection of the Valari Accord, a great agreement between powerful alien civilizations that promised peace, trade, and cooperation across the stars. 14,000 star systems followed its laws. War became rare, borders were respected, life was stable, but nothing lasts forever. The collapse came faster than anyone expected. It started with the Trinaxis Empire. Once leaders of peace, they suddenly turned their warships toward their neighbors, attacking without warning. No reason was given. They destroyed entire planets, saying only that balance had to be restored. The Kaldur Assembly, proud and ancient, broke apart under pressure. Some of its factions fled into deep space. Others turned pirate. Trade routes that had stayed open for centuries were now dangerous, full of raiders, smugglers, and scavengers. The Valari Accord was no more. Its council was silent. Its fleets were gone. Across the stars, chaos spread like wildfire. Billions of lives were left without protection. Space stations called for help but got no answer. Planets shut their gates and waited for the worst. Some civilizations tried to stay neutral. Others turned on their neighbors to survive. And in the middle of this rising storm, there was Earth. Humanity had entered the galactic stage just 200 years ago. At first, they were ignored. Too new, too small, too far from the center. Earth was seen as a backwater planet barely worth visiting. Some even laughed at the idea of humans joining the Accord. But humans did not care. They learned, they explored. They built ships, stations, and colonies. They did not ask for power. They asked for peace and kept building, quietly, while others watched. Now with the galaxy falling into fire, the humans did not run. They listened. They watched. And when the first cry for help came, they answered. It came from Syrexis, a mid-sized colony world in the outer band. The Syrexians were not human. Their skin was gray-blue, their eyes large and full of light. They were peaceful builders and scientists. When the pirates came, they had no defense. They sent a message across the stars. To any who hear, we are falling. We seek help, not conquest. If there is anyone left who remembers the Accord, please. The message reached Earth. In the tall glass towers of New Geneva, capital of the United Earth Government, UEG, leaders met in silence. Some said it wasn't Earth's problem. Others said the galaxy was too broken to fix. But one voice stood clear. Her name was Admiral Rhea Tanis. We are not here to conquer, she said. But if no one else will stand for the innocent, then we must. Not for power, for honor. The vote passed. A single fleet was chosen. Expeditionary Group 9. 12 ships, 1 carrier, no reinforcements. Their mission was simple. Go to Syrexis for, protect the people. Hold the line. Some called it foolish. Others called it brave. But the humans did not delay. In less than a week, Expeditionary Group 9 left orbit from Luna Shipyard, carrying supplies, aid workers, diplomats, and soldiers. Their ships were fast, well-built, and guided by the latest AI. Their crews were calm, focused. They knew what was waiting. When they reached Syrexis 4, they found the worst. The planet's orbit was littered with wreckage, burning satellites, broken defense drones. Pieces of Syrexian ships floated like bones in the void. Pirate vessels circled above, looting and firing at will. The ground was worse, cities burning, roads full of refugees, the air choked with smoke. The Syrexians were still, fighting, small brave groups trying to protect homes and families, but they were losing. The pirates laughed when the human fleet arrived. They saw 12 ships and thought it would be easy. They sent a warning. Leave now. This world is ours. Admiral Tanis didn't reply. She gave the order. Engage. Within minutes, the sky above Syrexis 4 changed. Human ships moved like hunters, fast and silent. Missiles streaked through the darkness. Railguns fired. Pirate vessels exploded before they even knew what hit them. One tried to run, It didn't get far. Tanis then sent a message to the planet below. "We are from Earth. We are not here to take. We are here to help. Hold on. You are not alone." Across Syrexis 4, the people listened, and for the first time in weeks they felt hope. Human soldiers landed in drop pods, bringing food, medicine, and defense drones. Engineers repaired water systems, medics treated the wounded, pilots flew, patrols to keep the skies clear. They didn't ask for money, they didn't raise a flag, they just helped. Galnet, the old Galactic network, still worked in parts of the galaxy. News spread, people watched in disbelief. "Earth?" they said. "The humans are saving Syrexis?" Some laughed. Others waited for the catch. But the humans didn't stop. They cleaned the orbit. They protected the people. They stood their ground. And they didn't take a single piece of land. Admiral Tanis stood on the bridge of her flagship, watching the planet spin slowly below. She knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy was falling. But someone had to stand in the fire, and she had already made her choice. For the first time in many years, Syrexis 4 slept in peace. The pirate ships were gone. The skies were clear. Human patrols flew above the cities, watching, guarding. On the ground, UEG soldiers helped the Syrexian people rebuild their homes and clear the ruins. Children who once hid in basements were now outside, staring up at the shining human ships in wonder. The adults, proud and quiet, bowed their heads in thanks. They had not expected help. But help had come, not from the old powers of the galaxy, but from Earth. Admiral Rhea Tanis stood in the command center built near the ruined Syrexian capital. Her white UEG coat was dusty from the broken streets, but her eyes were sharp. She looked at the map on the screen. Dots marked refugee camps, supply drops, and patrol routes. In the corner, a red signal blinked, a new distress call from a nearby moon colony. It was the third message today. "People are watching," said Commander Elias Rowan, her second in command. "Some are hopeful, others, not so much." "I don't care if they hope or hate," Tanis replied calmly. "We didn't come to win hearts. We came to hold the line." She knew the truth. This peace was temporary. Word of humanity's actions was spreading fast. Across the fractured galaxy, many saw Earth as a threat. Others saw them as an opportunity. Old powers who had once ignored humans were now paying attention, and not all attention was friendly. 2 jumps away, in the cold shadows of the Dravner Nebula, a fleet of strange ships gathered. They belonged to the Kaldur Assembly, or what was left of it. The Kaldur had once been respected warriors and noble diplomats, but after the collapse of the Valari Accord, they had split into factions. Some sought peace. Others wanted to rebuild the assembly with power and fear. High Marshal Uvektar led one such faction. From his command throne, he watched human news broadcasts with a frown. "These Earthborn," he said slowly, "step into power that does not belong to them. They claim to protect," said his advisor, "but no one gives them that right. They are outsiders." Uvektar growled. "They are dangerous. If they bring order, they will gain trust. And if they gain trust, the galaxy will follow them instead of us." He clenched a clawed fist. "We must act before they grow too strong." Back on Syrexis 4, Earth's work continued. Human engineers fixed power lines and water systems. Their AI drones mapped damaged areas. Medical staff treated the wounded, working side by side with Syrexian doctors. A small school even reopened, using spare modules from a UEG cargo ship. Syrexian and human children sat together, learning new words, drawing ships and stars on their screens. Admiral Tanis visited the school with a Syrexian elder named Malinjar. He was tall with silver markings on his skin, a leader in his community. "Our people thought no one would come," he said quietly. "But you came." Tanis nodded. "We couldn't stand by." Malinjar looked at her serious. "Others will not thank you. They will fear you. Are you ready for that?" Tanis answered with calm steel in her voice. Fear is better than silence. If we must walk through fire to protect the weak, we will. Before he could reply, a voice crackled in her ear. "Admiral," said Rowan, "we have a situation. One of our relief convoys was attacked in orbit. The attackers left no signal. One of our ships is missing." Tanis's eyes narrowed. "Who did it?" "Unknown. But the wreckage suggests Kaldur weapons. Within hours, the wreck of the missing UEG transport was recovered. The crew was gone. The ship was torn apart by high-energy torpedoes. Old, Kaldur tech modified dirty. Admiral Tanis called for a closed council. Her officers sat around a holotable, the broken ship displayed in the air above. "This was not an accident," she said. "The Kaldur wanted us to know it was them." Commander Rowan nodded. "It's a test. They want to see how we react." "They want us to lose control," said Tanis. "They want to paint us as invaders." The room went quiet. Then Tanis spoke again, firm and clear. "We do not fall into their game. We answer with strength, not rage." The next day the human fleet moved. They did not send a threat. They sent a signal burst to the Kaldur faction responsible for the attack, a simple message with coordinates and time. Then, 3 UEG destroyers jumped to the edge of the Kaldur fleet's patrol zone. They did not fire. They only waited. When the Kaldur ships came to face them, Admiral Tanis made her move. From her command ship in Syrexis IV, she activated a remote strike protocol, one Earth had never shown before. A hidden satellite, deployed weeks earlier, fired a precision beam across half a system. It hit the Kaldur's forward base, a weapons depot, not a civilian target. The building vaporized. The surrounding area was left untouched. Seconds later, all human ships withdrew. Not a single Kaldur life was taken. The message was clear. "We can strike you. We choose not to. Don't test us again." The galaxy was stunned. Across an Galnet, footage of the Earth strike went viral. Some feared it. Others were impressed by its precision. People who once laughed at Earth now asked questions. Can humans hold the galaxy together? Is Earth building an empire? Or are they truly here to help? On Syrexis IV, life began to stabilize. The markets reopened. People planted gardens in the ruins. Families stopped hiding. A small UEG station was built in orbit, not to control the planet, but to guard it. Tanis walked along the new power grid with Elder Mullinjar beside her. Children ran past, laughing. "You were right," Mullinjar said. "You are not conquerors." Tanis looked at him. "We are something. Older than conquerors. What is that?" She smiled faintly. "Guardians." The stars were quiet for now, but Admiral Rhea Tanis knew peace never lasted in a broken galaxy. Syrexis IV was healing. People were returning to their homes. Markets were full of voices again. Children played near buildings that had once burned. But, far beyond the Syrexis system, something was changing. More and more distress calls were arriving at Earth's outposts. A mining colony on Eaton 9 begged for protection from raiders. A science station in the Dral Nebula reported a blockade by mercenaries. Small planets once ruled by the great galactic powers now turned to Earth. They did not want rulers. They wanted guardians. Humanity was becoming a symbol, a new shield, in a galaxy without law, but not everyone was happy. The Kaldur Assembly, once a proud and respected force in the galaxy, had fractured after the fall of the Valaria Accord. Now the largest Kaldur faction, the High Chain Order, watched Earth's rising influence with growing fear. On the battle moon of Karnath III, High Speaker Nerak Val slammed his staff against the floor. "Humans offer help today," he shouted. "But what do they offer tomorrow? Power? Control? We Kaldur bled to protect this galaxy. Where were the humans then?" His voice echoed through the great chamber. "They come in silence, claiming peace. But peace is only the first step to domination." The other Kaldur commanders nodded. They had seen Earth's precision strikes, their powerful AI fleets, their smooth diplomacy. It scared them. The Kaldor had once led fleets that stretched across 100 systems. Now, Earth was doing more with 12 ships than the Kaldor could with 100. To them, it was a threat. Narak raised his arm. We must remind them. The galaxy does not belong to Earth. Back on Syrex's Fur, Admiral Tanis sat in her command room, listening to reports. Commander Elias Rowan stood beside her, reading a fresh message. A Kaldor fleet just stopped one of our aid convoys near Varen Belt, he said. No shots fired, but they blocked it for 5 hours. Did they give a reason? Tanis asked. They said Earth has no right to cross their legacy zones. Tanis narrowed her eyes. There's no such thing as legacy zones anymore. The Accord is dead. Everyone knows that. Rowan nodded. But they're trying to draw lines again. Another report came in moments later, and this one worse. A UEG medical ship, unarmed and clearly marked, had been attacked near the edge of Kaldor's space. 37 crew members were missing. Some might have escaped in pods, others were likely dead. No warning, no message, just an ambush. Admiral Tanis stood in silence. Then she spoke, her voice quiet but cold. Prepare the message. The next day a transmission went out across Galnet. It was simple, calm. But the galaxy heard it like thunder. Tanis appeared on screen, standing in front of the UEG banner, her uniform clean, her eyes sharp. This is Admiral Rhea Tanis of the United Earth Government. One of our humanitarian vessels was attacked without warning. Civilians are missing, some are dead. She paused. We are not here to fight old wars. We are not here to build an empire. But if you strike at the people under our care, we will respond. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't threaten. She just told the truth. The response came fast. Kaldor forces moved to high alert. Their commanders expected Earth to launch a massive counterattack. But no large fleet came. Instead, 3 human stealth ships appeared near the edge of Karnath 3. They didn't fire. They didn't speak. They simply hacked the outer defense grid and disabled it for 12 full minutes, enough to show they could enter and leave without being seen. Then they disappeared. No damage, no deaths, just a message. We see you. We are ready. We choose peace. For now. The galaxy whispered. For centuries, power had meant fire and blood. But Earth was using discipline, precision, and restraint. And it was working. Neutral planets began flying Earth's flag, not because they were forced, but because they trusted them. Earth was becoming something new, a center of gravity in a scattered galaxy. But power always brings more attention. The far reaches of the red spiral arm, a warlord named Vrothsa watched the rise of Earth with anger in his dark eyes. He ruled by fear. His fleet controlled 7 systems. He burned planets to keep others in line. And now, people were whispering his name less and Earth's more. He would not allow that. Back on Syrex's Thavor, Tanis stood at the edge of a new landing pad. The sun was setting over the hills. Refugees were arriving safely. Food was being handed out by human and Syrexian volunteers alike. A young Syrexian girl ran to her holding a drawing, a simple picture of a human soldier standing between 2 worlds. For you, the girl said softly. Tanis took the picture and smiled, just a little. We protect people, she said to Rowan, and we make enemies by doing it. Rowan nodded. More are coming. We can feel it. Yes, Tanis said, folding the paper. But so are friends. We won't face this storm alone. Above them, the stars shimmered, calm for now. But the fire was spreading, and Earth, once ignored, was now the first light others turned to. The galaxy was shifting. The fall of the Valaria Accord had left a deep wound across star systems. Chaos had filled the empty spaces. Pirate clans, mercenary lords, and old rivals took whatever they could. But now, Earth was bringing something rare back to the stars. Order. Human ships patrolled trade routes once feared. Their stations acted as safe zones for refugees. Earth's aid programs reached forgotten planets, offering clean water, medicine, and power. Many people called it a miracle. Others called it dangerous. In the red spiral arm, Warlord Vrothsa stared at the holomap in his throne room. Systems glowed red under his rule. His fleet was strong, his soldiers loyal. But new blue dots were appearing. Systems aligned with Earth. Vroth growled. They come with food and promises. Then they build outposts. Then laws. Then taxes. He said, voice thick with disgust. They are not helpers. They are builders of empires. He stood and walked slowly toward a large metal window. Outside, his flagship, Devourer of Suns, floated in orbit over the planet Ralix, a mining world under his control. I will not bow to Earth, he said. I will show them the galaxy still remembers fear. Back on Cyrexis Fur, Admiral Rhea, Tanis received reports of rising tensions near the edge of the red spiral arm. 2 small colonies recently assisted by Earth had been raided. Their defenses were destroyed. Civilians were taken. No pirate flags, no messages, just destruction. Same pattern as before. Commander Rowan said as he pointed at the screen. Fast strike. No survivors from the defense team. The attackers knew where the shield generators were. Tanis leaned forward. This wasn't just a raid. It was a warning. Yes, Rowan said. And I think it's from Vrothsa. The name was well known. Vroth was no longer just a criminal. He was a tyrant in the making, and the last of the great warlords still unchecked. Then it's time, Tanis said. We have to face him, not with words, but with presence. A few days later, Earth launched Operation Ember Wall. 6 ships, from the United Earth Fleet, small but advanced, were sent to the edge of Vroth's claimed space. Their job wasn't to attack. Not yet. Their job was to build a forward base, a safe zone for trade and rescue in plain view of Vroth's worlds. The UEG base was named Beacon Point. It was a message. We're not afraid. The station was built quickly with drones and AI labor systems. Within 48 hours, it had landing pads, shield walls, and communication towers. Cargo ships and refugee transport started arriving at once, seeking shelter. But not everyone was happy to see Earth's symbol waving in the stars. In the Ayim, deep void, Vrothsa gathered his captains. They stood in silence as he spoke. They build a base on our doorstep, he growled. They offer peace, but it is peace with chains. One of his younger captains, a bold fighter named Karek Dul, stepped forward. Then we strike now, burn their beacon point before it grows stronger. But Vroth raised a clawed hand. No, let it grow. The captains looked confused. Let them think they are safe. Let the galaxy see Earth stand proud. Then, we tear it down in front of everyone. Meanwhile, at Beacon Point, things were moving fast. UEG engineers built shield generators. Human and alien volunteers set up food stations and medical units. Patrols kept an eye on nearby systems. Tanis herself arrived on the 3rd day to oversee operations. She walked the base with quiet focus, speaking to soldiers and civilians alike. She knew what Vroth was planning. She expected an attack. But fear was not in her heart. Why are we really here? Asked Lieutenant Sora Hale, a young officer assigned to the station. Tanis looked out at the stars. Because people still hope someone will stand up when others run. The attack came on the 5th night. At 300 station time, a fleet of Vroths. Warships emerged from the edge of the system. Black and red vessels armed with plasma lances and ion disruptors. Beacon Point's radar picked them up in seconds. Alert. Incoming hostiles. 15 ships. Heavy class. Inside the control tower, alarms blared. Defense teams rushed to stations. Shield walls lit up as energy flowed through their cores. Tanis stood at the center of the command room, calm, but ready. Begin. Protocol Iron Halo, she ordered. Earth ships lifted from the pads and moved into formation. They were smaller than Vroth's fleet, but smarter, faster, and backed by advanced targeting AI. The battle began in silence, broken only by the sound of weapons fire and engines roaring. For 2 hours, the two sides clashed. Vroth's ships tried to break through the shield grid. Earth's drones flew tight patterns, intercepting missiles before they reached the base. Inside the station, engineers rerouted power. Medics treated the wounded. Volunteers helped civilians into shelters. Then, a breakthrough. Earth's flagship, the Resolute Dawn, used a new graviton field pulse to disable one of Vroth's command cruisers. The ship spun out of control and crashed into a nearby moon. Vroth's fleet paused, just for a moment. But that moment was enough. Admiral Tanis gave the signal. All human ships focused fire on Vroth's lead dreadnought. The targeting AI found its weak points. Within seconds, the giant ship was pierced. Flames burst from its core. The rest of Vroth's fleet, seeing their leader's ship falling, retreated. Beacon Point stood. Damaged, yes, but not broken. The galaxy watched in silence. A warlord had come with strength. Earth had met him with courage, skill, and unity, and they had won. Back on Syrex's Fro, news of the battle spread like fire. Small worlds that had feared helping Earth now raised their banners high. Neutral planets sent messages asking to join the UEG Protectorate, and Admiral Tanis, as always, said the same words. "We are not here to rule. We are here to protect. But we do not back down." The fire was not over. Stronger enemies still waited in the dark. But now, the galaxy knew. Humanity would not turn away from the flame. They would walk into it and light the way for others. The victory at Beacon Point sent shockwaves through the galaxy. For the first time in decades, a clear sign showed Earth was a power to be reckoned with. Many worlds cheered the humans who dared stand up to a warlord. Others whispered in fear, but peace was still fragile. Admiral Rhea Tanis knew this well. She sat in the command room of the Resolute Dawn, looking at star maps dotted with alerts and requests for help. The galaxy's wounds were deep, and old problems were not gone. They were only changing shape. One message stood out. It was from Varun Belt, the place where a Kaldur fleet had blocked a human convoy days before. The message was short and urgent. Rebellion in Kaldur space. Several factions rise against High Chain Order. We request Earth aid. Tanis raised her eyebrows. Rebellion. Among the Kaldur? That could change everything. In the cold, shadowy halls of the Kaldur assembly, whispers of rebellion stirred. Not all Kaldur wished to live under the harsh rule of High Speaker Nerak Val or warlords like Vrothsa. One group, known as the Free Claw Coalition, believed the galaxy could be rebuilt with justice and fairness, not fear. Their leader, Torek Va, was a veteran commander tired of endless war and cruelty. He sent secret messages to Earth, hoping for a new alliance. His offer was simple. Help us overthrow the High Chain Order. Help us bring peace and we will stand with you. Tanis studied the message carefully. Allies within the enemy's ranks could turn the tide, but it was risky. The Kaldur were proud and cunning. Trust was hard won and easily lost. Still, she believed in one thing. The galaxy needed unity. She sent a reply. We will send envoys, but your people must prove their commitment. Back on Syrexis 4, preparations began. Envoys were chosen from humans and Syrexians, diplomats, soldiers, and engineers who could speak many languages and read many cultures. Among them was Lieutenant Sora Hale, young but fierce. With a talent for negotiation and calm under pressure, she would lead the team into Kaldur space. Before departure, Admiral Tanis spoke with her quietly. This mission could save lives, or cost them. Sora nodded. I'm ready, ma'am. We have to believe the galaxy can be better. Tanis smiled faintly. Good, because hope is the first flame in the dark. The journey to the Kaldur Assembly's hidden base was long and tense. Sora's ship, the Silent Arrow, flew through dangerous starfields, avoiding patrols and deep space hazards. When they landed on the planet Varka 6, the envoys were met with suspicion and cold eyes. Torekva himself appeared tall and stern, his blue-gray scales shimmering under the dim lights. We have watched your ships, he said. If you betray us, there will be no mercy. Sora met his gaze. Neither will we betray peace. Days passed with talks, plans, and careful listening. The Free Claw Coalition showed proof of their rebellion, captured outposts, weapons seized, from loyalists, and defections from Narak Val's forces. But the coalition also warned of danger. High Speaker Narak Val was growing desperate. He hunted traitors ruthlessly. If Earth's envoys were discovered, it could mean war, or worse. Still, the envoys pressed on, building fragile trust. Meanwhile, in the deep space beyond Varka 6, High Speaker Narak Val watched the talks with fury. "This alliance will be broken," he vowed. "I will crush the free claws, and I will burn Earth's hopes to ash." He ordered fleets to prepare for battle. The galaxy was on the edge of a new war. Back on Varka 6, the human envoys faced their own test. One night, the base was attacked by hidden loyalists. Explosions rocked the compound. Alarms blared. Sora took command, leading her team to defend their position. Using quick thinking and teamwork, they held off the attackers until reinforcements from the Free Claw Guards arrived. The attackers fled, but the message was clear. Peace would not come easily. The attack brought the envoys closer together. They knew the cost of their mission, but they also saw the first signs of real hope. Kaldor soldiers who laid down their weapons and joined the coalition. Families who dreamed of peace. Leaders who chose dialogue over destruction. Sora stood beneath the twin moons of Varka 6, watching the stars. "The fire is burning," she said softly, "and we must keep it alive." Back on Syrexis 4, Admiral Tanis prepared her next move. Earth would stand with the Free Claw Coalition, but she knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy was a storm waiting to break. But the first sparks of rebellion meant one thing. The broken forces of old might finally be healed, and humanity was ready to walk through the fire again. The galaxy trembled on the edge of change. The Free Claw Coalition was gaining strength. More Kaldor systems left the High Chain Order. Earth's influence spread like wildfire, a bright flame lighting dark space. But danger was closer than ever. High Speaker Narak Val refused to give up his power. His fleets gathered in the Obsidian Rift, a deadly nebula where no starship dared to enter lightly. His goal was clear: to crush the rebellion and destroy Earth's growing reach once and for all. On Varka 6, Sora Hale prepared with the Free Claw leaders. The human envoys had proven their worth, earning trust and friendship. Now, they faced the hardest test: a joint strike to break Narak Val's fleet before it could attack. The plan was risky. A small force would fly through the Obsidian Rift, evade detection, and attack the High Chain command ship, the Iron Fang. If they succeeded, the rebellion could turn the tide. If they failed, the entire coalition might be destroyed. Sora's ship, the Silent Arrow, was chosen for the mission. Its advanced stealth tech made it almost invisible. She stood on the bridge looking at her crew, young faces filled with determination. "Remember," she said, "this is not just a battle for us. It's a battle for the future of the galaxy. We carry the hopes of millions." The engines hummed as they entered the thick nebula. The Obsidian Rift was a swirling storm of cosmic dust, energy storms, and hidden dangers. Sensors flickered. Communications were weak. Every second was tense. Suddenly, an enemy patrol appeared. Sora ordered evasive maneuvers, weaving through the debris. The patrol fired, but the Silent Arrow vanished into a pocket of dark energy. Deep inside the rift, the Iron Fang waited. Its hull was scarred from past battles, its weapons deadly. Narak Val stood on the bridge watching the scanners. "We will end this rebellion," he said quietly. But his confidence was shaken. Reports warned of the approaching stealth strike. He ordered his fleet to prepare, but they were blind in the dark nebula. Sora's team moved closer. The Silent Arrow launched drones to jam enemy sensors. They slipped past patrols and traps, reaching the Iron Fang's outer defenses. At the command of Sora, the team fired plasma, charges at the ship's shield generators. Explosions rocked the Iron Fang. Shields flickered. The battle erupted. Kaldor fighters swarmed the Silent Arrow, but Sora's crew fought back fiercely. They moved with skill and speed. Human reflexes combined with advanced AI support. A direct hit destroyed the Iron Fang's primary weapon. Sora knew the moment had come. "Fire the ion cannon," she ordered. The huge blast tore through the ship's hull. The Iron Fang shuddered. Narek Val shouted orders to retreat, but it was too late. The command ship began to break apart. As the Iron Fang fell, Narek Val gave one last order: destroy the Coalition. But his fleet was disorganized. The Free Claw ships pressed their attack. The tide was turning. After the battle, Sora's ship returned to Varka 6. The Coalition celebrated their victory, but they knew the war was not over. Narek Val was wounded, but alive. He would return with more force. Back on Syrexis 4, Admiral Tanis listened to the news with a steady heart. The victory was a symbol. Even the oldest powers could be challenged. She looked out at the stars. "We have walked into the fire," she said softly, "but we are the flame. We will light the way." The galaxy watched as Earth led a new era, an era of hope, courage, and unity. The fallen galactic forces might be broken, but humanity had risen from the ashes, and now, nothing could stop the fire they carried.